Hello everyone, we're back again with another unboxing slash review. Today we've got the King of Heroes, Gilgamesh himself. So I decided to go with this because a while ago I finished Babylonia. It's been maybe a day or two. Okay, it's not that much of a while. And so I figured, hey, Gilgamesh is in Babylonia, let's unbox Gilgamesh. Honestly, like, the order of the Fate characters I do is pretty much solely based on what I've just done in the game recently. Oh, there's still a sticker on this. Nice. I did grab this off eBay. I'm pretty sure it's secondhand. He wasn't too expensive, which is nice. But hey, gotta collect all the Fate figures, so he is here. Honestly, by the looks of him from the box as well, it's seemingly very similar to his caster variant, which is actually what's in Babylonia. But we'll give him an unbox anyway, as well as he's got it. So I think this is his first ascension, right? So his first ascension is this, then I think he loses some armor and gains some tattoos, and changes his hair to kind of just the same as Castergil, and it kind of looks more like generic flat hair down kind of thing. That's his third ascension, which is also getting an Android. I think that might already be out. It's just my copy is stuck in Japan. So all the Gilgameshes, I guess. So much Gilgamesh. Let's see what we have for the instructions. Of course, he's got his Gate of Babylon, which is very cool. I will probably end up displaying him with that, honestly, just because it's a iconic pose. But I do want to use his his sword that splits the heavens as well somehow. What's going on here? This is weird. Okay, so this is stuck on. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So that just kind of attaches onto the box over here with like one of the usual pegs. And that's got all his weapons here. His swords and axes and spears, as well as his ruptured sword of the heavens, I think it's called. Does it twist? That's what I'd like to know. No, it doesn't, but that'd be super cool. The design, they nailed the design. Looks very nice. Okay, and then he's got a couple of hands there. One's holding a cup for this jug over here, so I guess he can do some drinking. Very cool. Let's get that back in place. Nice. Good set of weapons. That's gonna go in here, of course, for his Gates of Babylon. Very iconic from the anime. He uses it so often. Alright, and then we've got Gil himself. And some plastic. I think this is secondhand, but all the plastic is still here, so maybe it's secondhand but hasn't been displayed or opened in the same way like Ami stuff is secondhand. Let's grab that out of there. Or someone just, like, you know, carefully put this all back on, which I wouldn't put it past them. Take care of your things at least, which is good. How does this all attach? Okay, so his shoulder pads are actually on little things there as well. Nice, but I don't really want to pull them off if I can avoid it. Let's rip you a big hole. There we go. Off you go as well. And there we go. Back into place we go. And there we go. Very nice. This is the cocky Gilgamesh shouting mongrels that we all know and love. He's kind of got like a similar design to Mordred, in that he's got like this thing as well as like a round cape-ish bit, but I don't think anything moves too much. No, it doesn't. It's all fairly solid, and as well as he's got his golden earrings. Everything is very gold because he's the king of heroes, obtaining everything that the world had to offer, all stored in his treasury. Very cool indeed. Let's get you back there. Alright, and here we have the usual base bit, extra neck joint, and arm. And then we've only got one one faceplate, which is the usual shouting expression that you see on anyone who has a weapon, of course. And then we have a couple of bent arms as well as some straight arms. Cool. Let us get into some poses then. Alright, here's our first pose for Gil. He's got his sword, Ea, out, and he's just kind of smiling along. Nothing too menacing. No shouting mongrels from the top of his lung too much. But yeah, it's a pretty nice pose. Honestly, I'd like to have this one focus on Ea a bit more, but given that his third ascension, that seems to be like the focus of that, whereas the two of this one as well as the caster one, it seems like the big set piece is his Gates of Babylon, whereas the other one is Ea doing some cool stuff, as well as like him activating his Noble Phantasm for Ea, which is pretty cool, Enuma Elish. So I will probably have this one focus on, Gates of Babylon as intended, and then do Ea in the next one. So at least we get to see what the sword looks like before we get a third ascension Gil in whenever that is. Come on, Japan, I really want my stuff. Hopefully things will calm down in the world so we can get on with life. But anyway, let's move on to the next pose. Alright, here is our next pose for Gil. He's just kind of got a cup out. Same as the last pose, honestly. It's just, yeah, put him with a jug. I think this is to recreate the scene in Fate Zero, where the three kings kind of convened and shared drinks and tales for a bit without fighting, which was kind of a cool scene. So I guess that's what this is from. But without all of them there, it kind of just looks like he's just kind of got a mug, kind of like Izo. What was his name? Izo Oda, I think his name was, or something like that. The assassin dude that's in the ongoing event now. Maybe that's supposed to, he kind of gives off that vibe. But again, very simple pose, not really much to say about him. He does kind of stand on his own if you get his legs right. I haven't got mine straight here, but he kind of balances on them pretty well, because both of his soles of the shoes are just completely flat. So if you want, you could just stand him up by himself without a base, which I think is a nice little tidbit. But let us move on to our final pose. Alright, here is our last pose for Gilgamesh. Of course, it is the Gate of Babylon. I kind of actually prefer this one as opposed to the other one. Well, I like some things and I don't like other things. So I really like how they've designed it. So for swords and stuff, they go from the back, so that way when it gets to that point, the hilt stops it from going any further, and it sits really well. Also, like, same with that. Whereas things like spears and things that are on poles go from the front backwards, and like the way it's designed, like there's a bit of a kind of widening effect going on. So as you get further up, it'll get a bit tighter, so they kind of lock in place at just the right position as well, which is really cool. Also, plus that golden sword at the top there, I'm very sure that is Caliburn, the sword of selection that Artoria pulled from the stone, because it definitely looks like that design, but it's pure gold, so maybe it's something else that Gilgamesh has. But of course, he's got all the treasures of the world, so he's got everything. So any noble phantasm, any heroic spirit sword or weapon, he's got it in his Gates of Babylon, because that's how his myth goes. Regardless if it's past, present, or future, he obtained all the treasures of the world that'll ever exist, so he's got it, which is pretty cool. So I kind of like that aspect about this design a bit more, as well as like the color of the rings. It's kind of got the gold as well as the red effect going on, which kind of gives it a more like kind of magical feel to it, which I really like. But what I don't like, what I'm not a big fan of, is how it attaches. So it just kind of attaches onto the arm bit there. So you just kind of press down and hope it sort of works. I managed to get it first try, but honestly, I could see that being a little bit of a pain, just the way it's designed, because if you don't get it first try, you're gonna have to be moving it around to try and get that straight, like at a 90-degree angle, as well as the figure going upright. It could be a real pain, but thankfully he wasn't too much work, So I'm definitely going to keep him in this pose. It is a shame that he does look exactly the same as Pasta Gilgamesh. I'm looking at him now. Pasta Gilgamesh is more of a yellow kind of a feel. You know what, actually, I'll bring him over. Give me just a sec. Jump cut. Okay, so here's our two Gilgameshes. We've got Castor on the right and regular Gilgamesh on the left. And so, if you notice here, these weapons don't really fit all that well. Like, all of them are kind of falling off, honestly, because you can essentially pull them all the way through, which isn't too great. And I kind of wanted them at a halfway point. Maybe it's supposed to be like that, but like, if you look at something that tiny, you're not really gonna get the full effect. Plus, if you don't get a perfect balance, they kind of weigh up or down. So it's kind of like a balancing act, which is a bit of a shame. But it is what it is, so I prefer the design of the holes on this Gilgamesh, but I prefer how this Gilgamesh attaches his Gates of Babylon, which is just a separate arm that kind of goes behind the figure on a bigger base. But I guess this one came out at a much earlier time, so he was before they started doing these bigger bases on some of the figures. But all in all, they both look great. They both kind of give off that Gilgamesh feel. They both got the same shouting face, although he's a bit more lighter toned. He doesn't have as many wrinkles because he ain't that kind of guy anymore. He's grown up. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, subscribe for more Nendoroid content, and we will be back next week on Monday with some more videos. Who are we gonna do? I will probably do some more Fate stuff. I've got another Monogatari special box as well for Shinobu, so I'll probably do that. And then we'll see from there. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We're getting close to that 100 sub goal, when of course we will unbox the Saber complete file with the Saber Nendoroid, as well as all the Nendoroids at that point in book form, and we'll go through that, which I think will be pretty fun. We're about like 20-25 away or so we're pretty close. So keep it up, guys. I appreciate all the help, and I will catch you in the next one. Alright, bye!